Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Let's kick things off with a true legend, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is the entire epic sci-fi trilogy remastered into one incredible package. I'm explaining this mostly for newcomers, because veterans over 30 probably know it all already. You're diving into an action role-playing game where every single decision ripples out with consequences that shape the entire galaxy. You play as Commander Shepard, male or female, that's your choice, fighting to save the galaxy from an ancient threat. The Reapers. Think colossal machines that wipe out all advanced life every 50,000 years. What hooks you is the incredible depth of your squad mates, your relationships with them, and the tough moral choices. Do you want to be a pure hero or a pragmatic anti-hero? That's up to you. Every word you say in dialogue, every choice from saving an entire species to romancing an alien shapes your unique story. Honestly, it's a legend. Not just a game, but a journey that pulls you in for dozens upon dozens of hours. The Callisto Protocol. Next up is the Callisto Protocol. This is a grim survival horror that drops you into the nightmare of the year 2030 on Jupiter's icy moon, Callisto. It was crafted under Glenn Schofield, one of the minds behind Dead Space, and it proudly carries the torch as that series' spiritual successor. You play as Jacob Lee, a cargo ship pilot thrown into the brutal Black Iron prison. A mysterious outbreak there is turning inmates into horrific monsters, and your goal is simple: survive. Visually, it's stunning. It uses Unreal Engine 4 but honestly looks sharper than some Unreal Engine 5 titles. The terrifyingly realistic visuals, from the prison's grim, rusty corridors to the disgusting details of every mutated monster, will terrify you. And the death scenes? They're a whole new level of gruesome artistry. The Mortal Kombat team could take notes from these fatalities. Basically, the game is like buying a ticket to a horror movie where you are the star. Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2. Naturally, a list like this needs some Warhammer. So let's talk about Space Marine 2, the long-awaited follow-up to the cult classic from 2011, released last year. The game throws you back into the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. You once again step into the power armor of Lieutenant Titus of the Ultramarines, battling hordes of Tyranids and the forces of Chaos. It's a third-person shooter with heavy melee combat, offering both a single-player campaign and a 3-player co-op mode. Plus, there's player versus player for up to 12 players. The gameplay is where Space Marine 2 truly shines. Combat brilliantly blends shooting and visceral close-quarters fighting, letting you mow down hordes of Tyranids with a heavy bolter or tear them apart with a chainsword. The execution system is a key feature. Stun an enemy, and Titus performs a brutal, gory takedown, ripping off limbs, impaling foes with their own claws, which also restores your armor. This isn't just for show, it's vital for survival when fighting literal hundreds of enemies swarming your screen. The campaign is admittedly a bit short, but blasting through it with friends is still a ton of fun. Dead Space Remake. Since we mentioned Dead Space, this remake absolutely deserves a spot. This reimagining of the 2008 classic throws you onto the massive USG Ishimura mining ship. You play as engineer Isaac Clarke, facing nightmarish necromorphs, mutated corpses of the crew. It's pure third-person survival horror, focusing on intense atmosphere, scarce resources, and strategically dismembering enemies. Yeah, you heard that right. The story is a dark, psychological, oppressive tale revealed through the environment and dialogue. Isaac is finally fully voiced, unlike the silent protagonist of the original. He boards the Ishimura for a repair job but quickly gets trapped. The crew is dead, the corridors are overrun by necromorph spawn from a mysterious artifact, and the script digs deeper into the characters, especially Isaac and his girlfriend Nicole, adding emotional weight to the grim fight for survival. Bottom line: everyone should play this. It's one of the most atmospheric sci-fi horror games out there, keeping you on edge from start to finish. Death Stranding. With the sequel on the way, it's worth remembering what made the first Death Stranding unique. It came out, believe it or not, 6 years ago. Time flies. You play as Sam Porter Bridges, aka Norman Reedus, a courier in a post-apocalyptic America. A mysterious event called the Death Stranding opened a rift between the living and the dead, unleashing terrifying creatures and time-accelerating timefall rain. The core gameplay feature is the social strand system. It's essentially asynchronous multiplayer where players indirectly help each other. You deliver cargo across rugged terrain, mountains, rivers, deserts, and can leave structures like ladders, bridges, and ropes that appear in other players' worlds. Someone built a road? Awesome, it might save you a long trek. Lose some cargo? Another player might find and deliver it. This system makes every step feel part of a global community, where likes from other players are your reward. I'm sure they'll expand this in the sequel. Honestly, it reminded me of the vibe in Dark Souls, where players leave messages, but here they took that concept to a whole new level. Forever Winter. Now for something different, Forever Winter. It's a co-op tactical shooter with survival horror and extraction elements, currently chilling in early access. The game drops you into a grim post-apocalyptic world where ecological collapse and endless war between two superpowers have pushed humanity to the brink. You play as one of the few survivors left, scavenging for resources amidst the ruins and colossal war machines. Your mission is simple: go on raids, grab whatever you can find, try to stay quiet, and get out alive. The standout feature is the tense atmosphere. You're not heroes, just desperate survivors sneaking through the shadows. The cool part is that every raid tells its own story. Maybe you're hiding inside a pipe while house-sized machines battle overhead, or frantically running from a boss that spotted your shot. A dynamic encounter system makes every fight unpredictable. Enemies fight each other, and you can use that chaos to your advantage. Everspace Two. Alright, this next one is Everspace Two. It's a fast-paced space shooter with RPG elements. You play as Adam Roslin, a cloned pilot trying to find your place in the war-torn Cluster 34. It's a single-player game focused on exploration, intense combat, and looting. The coolest part? You can basically become anyone you want out there. The graphics are absolutely stunning, like a cosmic postcard you can't look away from. Unreal Engine 4 creates breathtaking visuals, think shimmering rings around gas giants and asteroid fields filled with debris clouds. Every single one of the over 100 locations across 7 star systems is handcrafted, packed with unique details like derelict stations or hidden planetary caves. Plus, you can customize everything, from your ship's weapons right down to its paint job. Choose from 9 different ship classes, each with unique abilities like cloaking or massive missile barrages. There's zero grinding here, and honestly, you don't miss it. The game gives you total freedom to roam the cosmos at your own pace and do literally whatever you want, whether that's waging war or trading goods. Up next, the legendary Helldivers 2. Since the third faction, the Illuminate, came back, this game has blown up in popularity again online. And let me tell you, it's packed with content now. Set in the 21st century, you're an elite Helldiver soldier fighting for Super Earth's democracy against hordes of Tyranids, automatons, and those newly returned Illuminate. It's pure player versus environment co-op action for up to 4 players, focused on chaotic missions where friendly fire is always on. The real highlight is the stratagem system. It turns combat into absolute mayhem. Stratagems aren't just weapons, they're orbital reinforcements. You call down everything from turrets and airstrikes to 500-kilogram bombs by punching in button combos right in the middle of a firefight. You pick up to 4 stratagems before a mission, and using them smartly is key to winning. Like, calling in a mortar to defend a point but accidentally blasting your teammate. Yeah, that's totally normal here, and it adds a hilarious layer of chaos. Missions are procedurally generated with 10 difficulty levels, and the co-op forces you to coordinate tactics tightly. One player might carry an ammo backpack, while another calls in a supply drop. Naturally, there's tons of progression and customization. But the heart of the game, what never gets old, is those frantic firefights and massive explosions under heavy enemy fire. Dune Awakening. Finally, the new Dune game, Dune Awakening. I gotta say, I'm kinda hooked on this one. The launch was pretty rough, I talked about it elsewhere. Anyway, Dune. Bad start, but things turned around fast within like a day. It pulled in a huge peak online player count of 140,000, and over 80% positive reviews on Steam suggest it's doing alright now. Well, alright except for the optimization, my RTX 3080 is seriously struggling. Either the game's unoptimized or maybe it's time for an upgrade. Bottom line, Dune Awakening is an ambitious open-world survival MMO from Funcom, the folks behind Conan Exiles. It drops you into an alternate Dune universe where Paul Atreides was never born, and Arrakis is still torn apart by the war between House Atreides and House Harkonnen. You play as a Bene Gesserit agent sent to uncover the mystery behind the Freeman's disappearance and awaken the sleeper. It's a mix of survival, crafting, base building, and political intrigue in a massive world where hundreds of players battle for control of the spice. And all this happens under the constant threat of massive sandworms that surge across the desert, forcing you to stay alert and making exploration seriously intense. Dyson Sphere Program. Alright, let's talk Dyson Sphere Program. This is a sci-fi factory building sim on an interstellar scale. You literally play as an engineer piloting a mech suit and core, with one massive mission: build a Dyson sphere. That's a megastructure wrapped around a star to harvest its energy, powering humanity's virtual reality supercomputer, the CH-Brain. It's a factory simulator focused hard on automation, space exploration, and logistics, kinda like Factorio, but in 3D and with galactic ambition. The key feature: the epic scale of automation that grows from a single planet to a whole star cluster. You start by mining basic resources like iron or copper, building conveyor belts and assembly lines, then scale up production by sending drones and ships to haul titanium or silicon from other planets. The real challenge is building those logistics systems. Planetary drones and interstellar freighters let you move resources across space, and constructing the Dyson sphere itself means launching thousands of solar sails into orbit around the star. Plus, there's a combat system now too. Your factories can get attacked, so you gotta defend them, which adds a cool new layer. Next up, the legendary No Man's Sky. This game launched 9 years ago, and let's just say it had a rough start. But the developers had golden hands hidden underneath that mess. They climbed out of it brilliantly. Yeah, I phrased that harshly, but you get the point. The game offers an infinite, procedurally generated universe with 18 quintillion planets. You're a traveler exploring space, mining resources, trading, fighting, and uncovering the mysteries of the Atlas. Genre-wise, it's survival, exploration, some action, and a bit of a sim. The main draw is absolutely that procedural generation, creating unique planets with their own crazy flora, fauna, and wild weather systems. Every planet is its own puzzle, from toxic jungles full of predatory plants to frozen deserts with roaring geysers. Explore them on foot, in ground vehicles, or starships, scanning species for credits and upgrading your multi-tool for mining or combat. The devs drop tons of free updates every few months, so after 9 years, the amount of content packed in here is basically endless. Returnal. Okay, this next one's a bit different. Returnal is a third-person shooter roguelike with elements of psychological horror and bullet hell. Yeah, that last part means thousands of bullets flying at you that you gotta dodge. You play as Celine Vassos, an astronaut whose ship, the Helios, crashes on the shifting planet Atropos. Celine gets trapped in a time loop. Every time she dies, she wakes up back at the crash site, and the world around her changes. The cool part is that each death teaches you something. Discovering new weapon alt-fires, from carbines to electropylon drivers, finding parasites with pros and cons, or grabbing artifacts forces you to adapt your strategy constantly. The co-op mode added in a 2022 update, and the Endless Tower of Sisyphus mode that came later, add even more variety. The story, inspired by Greek mythology and alien-style horror, stays intriguing right to the end. Just one heads up, the runs here are long, like 2 to 3 hours without saving, and it's pretty challenging. But the game itself? Genuinely cool. The Outer Worlds. Okay, so this is the Outer Worlds. People called it Fallout but done right, when it came out right after Fallout 76, which launched pretty bare bones. It's set in an alternate future where megacorporations have colonized the Halcyon star system. You play as a colonist woken from cryosleep by this eccentric scientist, Phineas Wells, to help expose corruption in the corporate board. Genre-wise, you're looking at a first-person shooter, exploration, and deep role-playing where your choices seriously impact the story. And speaking of story, it's fantastic, a straight-up satirical take on capitalism. Every planet is soaked in this absurd corporate culture. You travel to places like Terra 2, where workers practically worship brands, or Monarch, where outlaws and rebels fight for freedom. Your decisions shape everything. Do you save a colony or hand it over to a corporation? Do you kill a key NPC or talk them down? It's awesome that practically every quest has multiple ways to start and finish it. You feel this genuine sense of freedom. Split fiction. If you've got a significant other or a buddy who's down for some co-op, head straight to Split Fiction. Okay, fair warning, it's a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, not pure sci-fi, but it's so good I had to include it. You play as a duo of writers, one crafting sci-fi, the other fantasy. Their realities collide thanks to this mysterious device that brings their stories to life. The visuals are this vibrant mix of styles reflecting the dual nature of the game. The sci-fi world, Myriad, has neon cities, spaceships, and holograms, totally inspired by Cyberpunk and Blade Runner, with smooth animations and futuristic particle effects. The fantasy world, Joe's world, is the total opposite, think lush forests, castles, and magical auras, very Dragon Age in feel. The transitions between worlds are a visual feast, reality shatters like broken glass, blending elements from both stories. Honestly, it's a really cool game. Prey. And finally, let me remind you about Prey from 2017. It's an immersive sim with sci-fi horror elements and a bit of RPG. You play as Morganu, a scientist aboard the Talos 1 space station in an alternate 2032, where experiments with alien Typhon creatures have gone horribly wrong. Gameplay is first-person shooter, a bit of stealth, exploration, and a deep upgrade system letting you tackle problems tons of ways. The big feature is your freedom of approach, powered by neuromods. You can upgrade human skills like hacking or leverage, super strength, to open doors or move heavy stuff. Or, you can use alien abilities like mimicry or telekinesis. Mimicry is wild, you can transform into, say, a coffee cup and roll under a door crack. This turns the whole game into a sandbox. Feel like sneaking through vents avoiding Typhon? Go for it. Prefer blasting everything with a shotgun and glow cannon? That works too. Talos 1 is this labyrinth of labs, crew quarters, and zero-G areas, with every corner telling a story through notes, audio logs, and scattered objects. Your choices, from saving NPCs to how you use neuromods, affect the story and ending, making each playthrough unique. Alright, that's it for today. I'm sure you could think of more awesome sci-fi games to add, so definitely drop those in the comments below the video. Hope you found something cool to play.